Welcome to Happy Hour, brought to you by Best Damn Bookkeeping. There we go. I think I got to do that at the start of every show. It's just a pop. That's not a sound effect, folks. That was just me opening my beer. Oh.
It's like the gun at the Kentucky Derby. It's time to go, baby.
Yeah. Good sound. Oh, yeah, I got to do the thing where I make it public or share it or whatever. Are we out here? We're messing with how we go live on the Facebooks here. Says I'm live. There we are. Still doesn't let me change the security. Let me try. Let me try to share it to a friend's profile. Apparently, I'm not friends with myself. Could share it
What's
to
up,
a group.
everybody?
Can share it to a group.
What's up, Jai?
How's your week been?
I don't know. This is weird, man. It still won't let me make it. Still won't let me change the privacy.
What?
So let me also, I'm just going to get it out on my personal page. Sorry for the live podcasting, folks. Trying to do Facebook, changes stuff. And then we all scramble. All right, here we go. I'm going back to me. Here I come. Maybe. If I can find myself.
So are we recording, but we're not live anywhere?
We're recording. We're live on my page and on the Best Damn Bookkeeping page, but I don't have, maybe it's a me thing.
Oh, shoot. You tried to share it as Best Damn Bookkeeping, not as yourself. It's okay.
Oh, is that what I did?
Yeah.
Guy, I don't know what I'm doing out here. Man,
It's all good.
hold on.
Yeah.
Look out. Here I come.
I'll
Here I
bid
come.
$2.99. $2.99 is my bid. We doing prices right?
I don't know. I can't even find my business page.
Price
I
is
can't-
wrong.
Price is
I can't-
wrong.
Can't find my business page. Here we go. Let me try again.
I love how
Hold
they
on.
brought him back into the movie with AI. That was pretty cool.
Crazy. Yeah.
Nice.
I still can't.
The movie was so bad and so good at the same time.
That's a good summary. About right, man. Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
The second one. The second one.
Yeah.
That's so good, man.
Okay.
I was laughing the whole time.
Yeah.
Man, it was so stupid and so cheesy. The cameos were pretty amazing too, though.
I need to get in there and watch it. I haven't seen it yet.
It's
All
worth
right.
it. It's definitely good.
Yeah, I was
So-
supposed to watch it when we were here, but we decided to just not watch TV.
Drink
We're
alcohol
gonna try.
instead.
We're gonna try. Okay, when it's shared, yeah. So when it's shared from Best Damn Bookkeeping, then I can. That's how we're gonna do it now, Jai. That's how we're doing it from now on.
Yep.
We're live in so many places I don't even know right now, but it's probably all just like a circular reference. And here we are. So we got like a somber day today, but we're gonna have a serious talk. I don't know how to do serious stuff on this show. I don't think we've ever done it before. So this will be a new one. I'm sure we'll still laugh and talk a lot of smack. And I did open a beer just so it still feels normal. But we had a pretty damn tragic event in Minneapolis this morning, and I don't have all the details. I've just seen whatever's been on the news. But a crazy person in their lower 20s decided to walk by a church school with a few different weapons and open up. And two, like a 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, I think, are dead. A couple more that got critically wounded, and I don't. Jai, we did that thing where Jai, geez, Louise. Michael's in and out.
Do the talking. Let me do the projection stuff.
Sorry, man.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just
Jai.
carried away. I just get carried away.
I got you.
Do your
I got
job,
you, man.
Dan Plata.
I just get, I'm an
Yeah,
ADD entrepreneur. I can't help myself. I just can't help myself.
got
I'm
you,
like,
man.
oh, there's a guy.
Oh.
Michael,
Who's
you
doing
ruined
that?
you ruined the feng shui. You're on the back.
So far, Michael, we're 5 minutes
I mean-
in and we haven't started.
Yeah, we're just getting started. but seriously, a pretty shitty day in Minnesota. I don't call it my hometown, but it is my home. I don't claim to be from there, but I do live there. And it's like shootings suck. Personally, I don't think like gun control is the answer to shootings. I think there's a lot more to it than that, and crazy people can kill people with a lot of different ways, and crazy people are going to be crazy. But there is like a huge mental health thing going on, right? It's kind of undeniable, and it's one of those things. I think the world has changed since we were all young. It just wasn't a thing when we were growing up. I don't know that it was even a term that existed. But damn, the world's changed a lot, and I've noticed it in employees. Like when we were running home service businesses, Sean and I had some really crazy instances, and so we'll tell a couple stories, and hopefully, I think mental health is a real thing for everybody, and we all have our ups and downs. And I think as business owners, we all know we ride extra extremes sometimes with just the stresses we put on ourselves and our families and everything. But I think it's an unfortunate catalyst to a really important topic. And like I said, we're actually going to talk about serious shit today. So buckle up. I don't have the words for like how shitty it is. Like there's something different when it's kids. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like the innocence. But I was like in the bathroom this morning and like kind of started like crying to myself, like just out of the emotion of, I can't imagine that, like those kids going through that. It's crazy. And maybe it's because I got a 8-year-old and a 10-year-old and a 3-year or a 3. How old are my kids? 3, 7, and 9. They're somewhere in there. Yeah. You guys, Rob, how old are my kids? Jeez Louise. But man, it just hits home different.
I think what's crazy is like how random, like the very little that we know about this, how random that was. It wasn't, the kid bullied at that school, or at least we don't know that at this point. This is somebody who's clearly not a student, much older and all that. And just when you see stuff like this and realize like there's so much evil in the world, but also like we're blessed that these things don't happen more often. Like there's so little that could stop any one of us from taking a gun and going and doing the same thing, and anybody around here. I mean, there's so many crazy people that it's like, I'm glad that more people show restraint. Like my wife's back at school and the kids are going back next week. My daughters are both back on college campuses. When I was in college, that's when the Virginia Tech shooting happened. We had a domestic, like guy and girl broke up, dude blocked her into the parking garage. Like, I don't know how many days later, shot and killed her and killed himself. Like, and these things, there's so much more that like doesn't hit the news. They tried to snuff that one out big time. But yeah, it puts in perspective too.
Is it that it never used to happen, or is it just that news travels so fast now with social media that we all hear about it so much faster? So it's like the information flow is better, or maybe a little bit of both. I don't know.
No, I don't think it happened. I think it happens more, but I think it's the same old thing, the news cycle. There was no cable news really when I was growing up. So it's 24/7 constantly in your face. And then,
did you guys have TV? Did you guys have TV back in the 1930s?
They had black and white cartoon books.
We had 3 channels, man. And at midnight, the national anthem was played and TV went off, baby. That was what America was all about. We actually had a school shooting about 20 minutes from where I live, and 3 kids were killed, and I think 8 to 10 were shot. I went to school with a teacher there that was holding a kid that was shot, and we also and it shook the town huge. I mean, I can only kind of compare it to like 9/11, when you see towers coming down and you don't know, and then all of a sudden there's another plane somewhere and the whole world's just going, we don't know what the hell is happening next. It's a little eerie like that and a little unpredictable like that, and you don't know, and it's a very freaking matter. And when you don't know, that gets real scary. And my kids' school, I think 2 or 3 years ago it was, some kid came in with a gun and bullets, and he went to the bathroom, and some other kid in the bathroom saw his bullets that he pulled out of and had in his hand. And thank God the kid went to ran out, went to the principal, and all hell broke loose. And all I'm hearing from people is there was a shooting at your kid's school, because that's what the rumor was.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing worse than that when you hear there's a shooting at your kid's school.
I remember like
I'm ready to get
I
in the car
remember
and
yeah.
go up there.
I don't remember how long
you.
ago. Yeah, you're like going to the kids, and I think Denise actually told me first, because Denise was like, "Hey, something's going on, X, Y, and Z," and then the next thing you had said, like, "I'm out. I'm going to my kid's school. I don't know what's going to happen." I was like, "Jesus, man!" It's like you can't imagine it until you're in it. It's just wild.
Yep.
Are you clearing your throat because you got a nugget?
I don't even know what I mean. What do you say? Like right now. So I'll say two things. I wrote them down. And one is like super analytical, Michael thing I would say. And the second thing is a crazy one. So first is the most successful person that I know taught me something about control and influence. We've talked so much, Dan, maybe I've mentioned this before, but in anything that happens in your life, like directly, is like you can either control it or not control it. And then influence is a choice, right? Is I can choose to say, well, I can't control that, but I can, go to my state, local, federal governments and like try to have my voice be heard. I can take action to try to like make some impact, some sort of change or affect some sort of change in my community, my state, or whatever it is. And like me, I'm not going to do that. And so I think if enough people decide that enough is enough, that there's going to be a big enough movement to make some sort of change. I don't know what the change is. Like, I'm not somebody that's going to go try to influence this. It sucks like so bad to hear about these things, especially for any of us that have kids. I think it just hits differently than it does before you have kids. Cause like you can put yourself like, in the mind of your child and like, think like how terrified that you must be in that situation. And it hits differently when you have kids. But what's crazy to me is like growing up and everybody sharing their stories is it's wild to me that my son is having to do like active shooter drills in kindergarten at his school. Like that's not normal. Like that shouldn't, I don't know, like that's crazy. And so something's broken. And I hope that somebody or some movement or something like starts to where like there's enough traction to have some sort of change. I just looked it up on, everybody's best friend, ChatGPT, and like it's been a significant uptick. And I said, give me data for the last 4 decades. And it's like, it's thousands of % more active shooters in 2025 than there was in 1975. And so something's broken and it ain't getting better. So hopefully somebody that has influence or has the desire to make a change is going to do something about it, because it's not getting any better.
I'll say this, my brother-in-law is a trooper, and actually does those, it's called craze training. Basically, how do you handle an active shooter situation, and talking about it for adults. And I think another part of it is just like, I've thought through my mind, what would I do if this happened? Like that's just something that goes through my mind on, unfortunately, a regular basis. Like if shit hit the fan right now, what am I doing? And I think we have a lot of that. Granted, for the kids, that's awful. For adults, it's like, there's so many adults that if somebody walked in with a gun, like they're a sitting duck, literally and figuratively. They are not going to do anything. I've thought about it at our church. It's like, all right, so how fast can I disconnect this chair from the rest of it and throw it at the person? Or like, what are we doing? And then where are we getting people out to? And like, what are we doing? Like, I know I'm weird and different, but like that might not ever be something, the person, my wife is never thinking about that.
That's a really good point. Yeah. Marty's not thinking about that, but I'm thinking about where are they going to come in from? Who else is here that can kick some ass? Like, what are we doing to stop this thing?
Yeah.
How many bullets do I got to take?
And granted, Marty's only thing she has to think is, how fast can I grab all 3 and get them to do what they need to do? Like, and that's the extent of the training that needs to really go on, is, getting people to understand, like, in case of emergency, do what your teacher tells you to do right away. Do what mom says now, not, why do we have to? No, do it. Like, it's insane.
Not every situation is negotiable.
Yeah.
I don't, well, let Jai, I know we got to hit commercial breaks. Look at me go.
Yep.
How am I doing? Look, did you guys notice that? Did you notice what I just did there? Angela, we haven't Angela and Trevor, before we hit a commercial break, you guys got any thoughts, comments before we take a little transition?
It is hard to have a comment on. I mean, it's I do think the escalation is that, I mean, I don't know that we see it more on social media, because I think it was always on the news, but whatever happens, the more of things that happen, the more it's on people's mind as a solution, right? Like that happens with school shootings, suicide. Whenever people see that other people do it, whether it's a good or bad thing, it just becomes something that's on your mind that's possible. And
Yeah, it's like self-fulfilling.
so, yeah, it just, otherwise it wouldn't enter someone's mind to do that. So I don't know how you then take those things away, but I think that's why things become ever more prevalent, is people see it as like, oh, that's something I could do.
Yeah, you know what? I'm a little surprised by my reaction right now. I don't know what to say. I'm actually a little bit emotional. My breathing's off. I've got 3 kids, and this is, I didn't hear about it till just now, by the way. This is it's just wild, and we humans, men in particular, we want to provide solutions, right? It's like, all right, what do we do? How do we fix this? Man, this isn't fixable. Guns were around 4 decades ago. The guns haven't, fully automatic weapons have been around for at least 50 years. It's like, nothing changed there. Actually got a little bit more difficult over the years to acquire these weapons. So it's like, there's no logic behind it. How do you even come up with a solution for something that's illogical? And why is it white males in the United States of America? Like, what's the problem? You want to be able to find a solution, but you just can't. I think the only thing you can do is, like Michael Jackson said it best, look at the man in the mirror, have conversations with those that you love, and tell them not to be heroes. Please don't be a hero. Just go hide. For the love of all things, go hide. This just a horrible conversation, and I hope it ends very soon.
You want to end this podcast, or you just want to not have these events happen again?
Both would be great.
So I do want to explore a little bit, like, and none of us will have the right answer, but like thoughts on why, like we all got some thoughts on like just different things we observe. And then for sure, I want to talk about how we as business owners like handle our own mental health. Cause like I said, we ride the ultimate ups and downs of our businesses and our families, and it's our own mental health is super critical, because our families derive kind of some stability from our ability to keep our shit together, and our employees, right, are watching what we're doing. And so I think us being able to keep our shit together and work through our own stuff is super important. But I mean, and I've had some interesting situations with employees over the years from a mental health standpoint, and I don't see those going away either. And it's like, we're not freaking therapists, but like as business owners that are employing people, we're leaders, right? And when your leaders or when your followers are struggling, you don't abandon them, right? You try to figure out how to help them. And so I think we all have challenges as business owners of you can't just hide from mental health. Like, it's here, it's happening. We got to try to understand it as best we can and try to figure out what our role is in helping people with it.
I think that's what I always struggle with, like when I hear about like mental health days. Like, that was not a thing when we were kids. It's something certainly from my kids, and like I will say it started before COVID, but certainly they started doing all these other activities for them and all. And it's like, yes, mental health is important. What's causing this increase in people to need that, or even people to say that? Like you said, the amount of stuff that I'll just speak for myself, that stress that I put on myself would kill most regular people. Like they would be having a full-fledged mental breakdown, and it's amazing. Like I'm this close a lot of times to it, but I stay on that side. I don't jump off the cliff. And we have so many people though that like nowadays, like people not being able to cope, and clearly some switch flipped in this person to make them do this, and like having those people that just can't cope with it anymore, or just have gotten to that breaking point and either not having that space to talk about it. And I know like for our kids, like not the trainings, but like the parent sessions I've talked about, is just calling them the anxious generation. And I know that social media plays a role, and I know that the TV programming, the TikTok reel, whatever, like I'm not saying TikTok causes that, but like we've gotten to a point where mentally something's there's a wire or two loose, I guess, if you want to say that way.
I think I've got some ideas why. I don't have solutions, but I think I have some ideas why. But because I'm getting really good at this podcast hosting radio show thing, I am aware that we need to take a commercial break. So we're going to come back, explore some reasons why we may be having some mental health problems. I don't know, that maybe that helps us out a little bit. And just some specifics of what we can do as business owners and leaders of our teams to try to handle situations better. Jai, hit us with the commercial break.
Yep.
This is Wayne Vose, the Prophet, and I'm bringing the heat to the Equip Expo 2025.
And I'm Daniel. Stay hydrated, stay caffeinated, and swing by the Turfs Up radio booth. We'll be pumping out live shows like fertilizer through a spreader.
This is Darren, your landscape hero, and I'll be there making noise, taking notes, and calling out the real heroes in this industry. You.
It's Eric, and yeah, we'll be there trying to keep up.
Trying? This is Jennifer, and we're crushing it. Stop by and talk tools, trends, and how to outshine your neighbors.
I'm Aaron. I'll be digging deep with the stories that matter. Legacy, grit, and green industry pride right from the showroom floor.
And I'm Katie Voles, roaming the floor with my mic, asking you funny trivia questions. Get them right, and you might just win some cold, hard cash.
Come find us at the Turfs Up radio booth at Equip Expo 2025. Live broadcast.
Surprise guests.
Cash giveaways.
And more fun than a zero-turn drag race.
October 21st through 24th, Kentucky Exposition Center in Louisville.
We'll be broadcasting live all week from the turf to your truck and speakers.
So come say hey and get ready to play.
It's Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station, and your ultimate Equip Expo destination.
Oh, are we back?
Hey, Turfs Up Radio fans.
Oh, no.
Do you know what time it is? That's right. It's time for Turfs Up Radio. Now you can catch us streaming live 24/7 with pro talk, pro tips, and pro interviews. Simply visit turfsupradio.com.
I should have known by the way that there wasn't music playing that we weren't back yet. But Jai can cut that out in the podcast. When this gets turned into a podcast, it doesn't need to have me going, hey, are we back? Although I feel like that's on brand, me not knowing what the hell's going on. So maybe we leave it in there. It's part of the fun of the show. All right.
It's been on a while. Angela's got some new moves, man. I'm digging it.
It's new music.
Different
It's new music.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
Good
right.
point. Good point.
That's right.
I choreograph it special.
She was former dance studio owner,
Yeah.
instructor. She's got knows
That's
how
right.
to do the moves. We're down a couple guys. Michael disappeared, and Rob had to go coach soccer practice. But we're talking some mental health stuff here. If you didn't hear, there was a tragic shooting in Minneapolis today with a couple youngsters passing away and more in critical condition. So there's nothing that can be said besides we hope the best for all the families and everything. I can't even imagine. And Trevor, you mentioned before, but man, even like saying it just makes me like choke up. It's freaking awful. But I think it's still worth talking about, as uncomfortable it is, and as much as the event sucks, and it's probably like too soon to talk about, but I think it's so relevant. Just the whole mental health thing. And I like half joking, but half not. Before we went on a commercial break, I said, I know what it is. I know why we have this inflection of just like massive mental health things. I don't know. It's some combination of it, but I, for one, and this is so hypocritical, it makes me sick. But man, those 4 months I was off of Facebook and not looking at anything on social media, I was significantly happier. And now I'm back on and I see the left talking shit about the right and the right talking shit about the left, and just all the bullshit on social media of people being assholes to one another. I don't know how you expose yourself to that world and come away a better person or not angrier. I never am on and leave happier, unless I'm watching like a hunting or fishing reel or something funny. Sometimes there's that, but it's like it's geared towards getting clicks, and it's the shit that aggravates all of us that gets the clicks. And it's hard for us to not stick ourselves into sometimes. So I think one of the things I have observed over time, there's a strong correlation with this crap in social media for sure. It is what it is. Obviously, as business owners, we're very dependent on social media too. So like I said, it's super hypocritical. It's a tool, but it's a really shitty one at that, for those reasons. And I've talked about this on the show before, but it's probably been a while. I had noticed this in my employees especially when I was running like the window cleaning and the home cleaning day-to-day stuff, is our employees didn't have the ability to generate their own pride the way that our generation grew up doing. They didn't have the same opportunities to do hard things and overcome them. And I think mental health has so much to do with the ability to solve problems and overcome them. And as business owners, we have the luxury of we can create our own work. We can, and we oftentimes do. We create our own problems. And I think you guys would all agree, right? Like when things happen that are good for us, we don't get as excited about when things happen that really suck, and we problem solve them and overcome them. Even if the rewards that we reap are smaller, when we have to do more work for them, we don't get joy or pride out of things that are given to us. We get joy and pride out of overcoming hard shit. And I noticed when I had employees with mental health problems, the biggest challenge they had was that they didn't have avenues to generate their own pride. It was like they were either given stuff or not challenged in certain ways, or maybe not like praised when they did overcome it, or never like were taught that lesson. But it always seemed there was a disconnect in joy and happiness and their own pride. Like they didn't have the work ethic. They didn't enjoy getting their fingers dirty and like working their ass off. There was no pride. And it always seems to me like when there's a disconnect there and people don't have the ability to work hard and earn some pride, which is why I close the show out the way I do. If you guys haven't noticed that, every time I close the show out, I say, work smarter and harder, go earn yourself some pride. That is the derivative of happiness. Like if you get to go create some pride, like that is what fuels you. And I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it for me. Maybe it's not for everybody else, but I've observed it in so many people when they didn't have that. They didn't have somebody creating those opportunities for them, and they were missing that pride of doing hard shit. And I've seen it in people that we know that have been going through hard stuff, where the more shut down you become and the less hardworking you become, the more depressed you become. Maybe it's people like us, but I see a really strong correlation there. Ron Musgraves, what's going on, man? Antonio Curry, thanks for checking in, buddy. Good to hear from you. Zig Scott was in, but he hadn't heard about what happened. He said he's going to tune out, so he doesn't he wanted to go get some info. Cole's checking in. Thanks, man. I'm curious, Angela, Trevor, Sean, obviously you guys are exposed to tons of other business owners, tons of employees over the years. What do you guys see that is like the part of that trajectory or cause of this like mental health challenge we're all dealing with, whether whether we have it personally or we're being exposed to it? Like it ain't, like I said, it ain't going anywhere. What do you guys see?
I think that
Go ahead, Angela.
that people discount like the difference in the chemical imbalances. So there are definitely things like social media and things that affect that, but there's also such a difference, not to be this like nerd, but differences in our environment, differences in our food sources, differences in that way that it's all affecting our hormones, and that people are like the sugar that kids eat, like it all affects in a way that we kind of talk and joke about the chemicals in our body. But it's a lot more than like being healthy and feeling good and energy and like looking good. I think people are finally starting to realize when they say like sugar is worse than cocaine for your body, like it changes the way all of the things and the hormones and the cortisol all changes the way that our brains are wired. Literally, when you say like our brains are wired different, the neurotransmitters are actually wired different and fire differently because of the different chemicals. And I think people need to take that seriously. Social media does affect the way those things fire as well. I'm not trying to discount that, but those things are fixable, and it's literally chemicals in our brain that it's hard. Like we're like, oh, somebody would change your behavior or get a good pep talk or do these things to like improve your attitude. And it literally isn't as easy or doesn't happen or isn't fixable. And we can't imagine why somebody would do something like this. And it is because their brain got wired differently. Like their brain is firing completely differently. And it's not something that like their parents doing anything differently, the 20-year-old parents like raising them differently can necessarily do. We have to fix this like systemic problem of like it's a chronic illness. This mental illness is a chronic illness that people are I mean, it is like people are victims.
It's like alcoholism it's like it's one of those diseases that's hard to put your fingers on because you can see the results of it, but it's hard to pick it out.
Yeah. And unlike alcoholism and gambling, where you can be like, okay, I can stop, even though it's hard to stop drinking, right? People don't see that. Like,
right.
I fed you too much sugar, and now like your brain is messed up, and you are like literally at a state of depression that people don't understand.
Rob had brought this up before we went live because and I think this is an interesting time to throw it out there, but the shooter was a transgender. I don't remember if it was a girl going to a boy or a boy going to a girl. And I don't know. This is one of those things where it's like when my wife was having a baby, I was like, I love you and I'm here for you, but I have no idea. Right? I can't like even try to put myself in those shoes. I don't know. Like I'm just trying to be helpful. And same thing. It's like I can't even get to the point of like why that would be an option for a human to be like, I want to change genders. And so I don't know if that's a related thing, like a mental whatever. I don't know. There's no right or wrong in it to me. I don't really care if people do it or not, but it seems relevant in a way. Like there's something that's clicking different for somebody. And again, I'm not a scientist. I don't understand it. I don't really care if people do it, but I do care if they do it and then they go shoot up a place, right? There's a wild difference in that. So I don't know what to like. I don't know where you go from there. I don't know how you prove it, how you handle it. I don't know if all of a sudden we're all going to have to take like mental health exams every year that the government is going to institute, and it's going to be like a freedom overreach at the same time. Like it's such a weird gray space to handle. Trevor, you look like you're ready to say some shit.
I don't want to mess this up, But this is all very basic and fundamental principles of the Bible. Everything can be brought back to the Bible. It's going to be a controversial. People won't even want to hear it, but it's the truth. It doesn't matter what it is. You can go back to the Bible and find it. Everything we're doing is on a demonic level, and we're fighting demons, whether we admit it or not, whether we're aware of it or not. They're there. They're real. This life is short, and you're playing for one team or the other. There's no in between. That's just how I feel about it. We were put on this earth for a reason. I think that the devil is winning the war on the planet, and I believe that's why it's going to be left to him. Yeah, I don't know, man. Read your Bible. Talk to your kids. Hug your family.
Amen to that.
What have you guys done? I want to do a business owner, mental health, and then we'll take a commercial break because I'm just crushing the hosting today. I'm like proactive. I'm thinking about it. Look at me.
Let's go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I won't even interrupt the commercial break this next time. I'll just go get a beer and keep my mouth shut. But I want to talk about like what we as business owners do for our own mental health. And then when we come back, I want to talk about stories of employees, and Sean knows some of mine. We'll revisit them. And just different ways we can help our employees cope with mental health. Because again, it's like whether we like it or not, we're going to deal with it. It's going to happen. If you are around people, if you live in the world, you're dealing with it. Whether you personally are dealing with it or you're working with other people that are working through stuff, you're dealing with it. So it's worth talking about.
I can dash a few things in here real quick.
Yeah, hit me, Sean.
So probably over the last, I'd say 2 or 3 years, I can honestly say I've never been had more peace in my life ever, by far. Okay. And I try to make things simple because I'm a simple guy. And so what I've learned works really well for me in general, and sort of the top line thing for me is, and I think it's the secret to peace for life, and that is this. And I tell my kids this all the time, and we have big conversations about it. I do everything I can to accept the world the way it is and the people in it the way they are, not how I think they should be and what they should be, because one is reality and one is not. I wish everybody would be kind and fun and give me money. That's just not reality, right? That's just not the way it is. So
Michael, if I heard him correctly, he's not looking for a paycheck. So we're off the hook. We're off the hook.
And I'll accept that. And that's fine. Just accept what's coming your way.
Just kidding, Michael. Never mind. I didn't, nothing.
And that's in general what it is. But how do you get there? There's things you got to do. And to touch on a couple things, I can't agree more with what Angela said about the sugar and things like that. Is totally crazy with food and stuff. I agree with Trevor. I'm a spiritual religious guy. I'm a Christian. All right. I agree with that. There's but I still think this instant gratification robbed our kids of the things you talked about, Dan, and that is falling on your face, getting back up, and doing it again. And that might take you a year to figure out, kids. I'm sorry about that. When I was a kid, The Wizard of Oz was only on during Thanksgiving. I could not push a button and watch Wizard of Oz anytime I wanted, okay? You had to do things that took an awful long time to get rewarded for, and oftentimes not rewarded in Little League, for example, for showing up. Those things make you want things more. It teaches you how to work harder. Even watching movies, I kind of dig the Marvel movies, but I can't watch them because every scene is 5 seconds long, and it's just boom, 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 boom. I watch older movies And I mean older movies, black and white stuff, okay? And there is actually dialogue, and you're sort of getting into this thing, and it takes a little longer to figure out what's going on. It's instant gratification. What do we see day in and day out on television? I almost had a heart attack back in the 80s when I saw the first direct prescription drug to consumer commercial. It had never been on television before, and when I saw that, I nearly fell over. I was a teenager. You know, I didn't know the world then. I thought, what in the hell was that? Where's the doctor in this commercial? That was insane to me. What do we see today? Every single day, practically every commercial. I'd be willing to bet some money that it's every hour that we're watching. Take this pill and you'll lose weight. Take this pill. You don't have to worry about what you eat anymore. Don't worry about the sugar because you can take this pill and that'll be fine. Little depressed today? Take that pill. You won't be depressed. Whatever your effing problem is on the planet, I got a pill for it, man. That's
but the side effects are pretty funny to listen to, Sean. Just saying.
They are worth it.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
So that's my kind of, but I think it's part of it's instant gratification. We get pissed off when Amazon doesn't have something to us in 2 days. I mean, that's insane.
What is up with that? Why does it take 3 days sometimes? It's crazy.
Right.
That's your point, right? Was why does it take 3 days?
Because we live in Ohio.
Sure.
Okay. No, all good stuff. All super good stuff. Thank you, Sean. I want to hit a commercial break here. We got to do a commercial break, but let's do this. Let's do a commercial break. Then we'll come back and just do like what we do as business owners to manage our own mental health, and then I think what we do or have done or can do for our employees to help them. I'm gonna go get a beer. We'll see you guys back in a minute.
Attention Green Industry Pros. It's almost time for the biggest event in the Carolinas, Green and Growing 2026. Turfs Up Radio will be there broadcasting live, bringing you interviews, product launches, and expert insight. Want to grow your business? Then don't miss this one. January 2026. Register now at greenandgrowing.com. Tune in and turn up on Turfs Up Radio. Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station. Hey everybody, Wayne Voles, the Prophet, your host of Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio. If you listen to my show, you know I'm all about profit. As an industry, profit is something we fail to meet most of the time. If you're working hard but not seeing the results that you deserve, Profits Unlimited is here to help. We offer processes and systems designed specifically to make your company more successful, more profitable, and certainly more efficient. When you're ready to take your company to the next level, reach out to me at profitsareus.com. That's profitsareus.com. And don't forget to turn into Profit Time every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Did you know that nonprofit Project Evergreen has thousands of volunteers across the country ready to help military families with lawn, landscape, and snow removal services? We call it Green Care and Snow Care for troops. If you are a military family and would like to receive this free service, or if you'd like to volunteer to help, visit projectevergreen.org. Project Evergreen, creating a greener, healthier, cooler Earth, 1 yard at a time.
From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world, no one rocks like Turfs Up Radio. Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
One more for good measure. We lost Trevor. Everybody else is back. Knowing Trevor, he had to go pee. If I know Trevor like I think I do, he had to go pee. Ain't that right, Trevor? Ain't that right, Trevor? Ain't that right?
That's right.
Yeah, see, I knew it. All right, we're back. We got the home stretch, boys and girls. We're talking mental health today after some unfortunate BS happening in Minneapolis with a little school/kiddo shooting. It sucks. We're past it. We're working on other stuff. Shelly's in the house. Time to pop a top. not the most fun topic, but let's get to the more interesting, not more interesting. Let's get about like what we can do about it. Because I think at the end of the day, like Michael talked about it earlier, it's control and influence. And what we can control is what we do for ourselves and how that impacts the people that we're impacting and influencing. And obviously as business owners, we have a lot of people to influence. And part of that comes with like how we handle it ourselves. So let's do just real quick, kind of some things that you guys do for your own mental health. And then we'll get into some stuff with employees and how we've handled situations in the past and kind of how we like to do stuff going forward. I'm gonna queue up Angela real quick because I know her and JC get up at the ass crack of dawn every morning and like work out. And I think exercise is a key component of it. Angela, how do you guys, how do you and JC both, and obviously you guys probably do some different stuff too, but how do you manage?
Yeah, I think setting yourself your own energy up for success and like planning for that in advance is huge, not waiting until a crisis happens. So my morning ritual is pretty sacred to me. We do get up at 4:21. I am on mountain time in Salt Lake City, and so I still try and stay on East Coast time, which is a little ridiculous, but
do you get up at 4:21 because you don't want to get up at 4:20 because then you feel like a pothead, or is it just like 4:21 just because one day the alarm was set for that and you're like, I guess this is it?
I only get to say this because JC's not on here and he is anyway. A snooze is 9 minutes long. Before JC, I did not snooze at all. But
now you get one snooze.
I like one snooze to cuddle in the morning.
Mm-hmm. You got your comfort. You got your comfort glass of wine at night. You got your 9-minute snuggle with JC in the morning.
It's my part of my morning ritual. I like the cuddle energy. So it starts with that, and then we go to the gym, and I listen to an audiobook at the gym. So listening to some powerful stuff and multitask there, and then we sit in the sauna. I meditate in the sauna, listen to meditation music, and meditate in the sauna. Cold plunge. I do outside miles. Grounding. I walk on the earth and get some sunlight. I think that's also important. It is.
I didn't know that was called grounding. I just thought it was going for a run. That's what I always called it.
Your bare feet have to be on the earth. This actually affects your mental health in a huge way. Your bare feet on the earth, it affects your electrical balance, and getting morning sunlight is one of the biggest things that you can do. Cold plunge and morning sunlight is a huge dose of serotonin. Look it up, Google it, but figuring out the balance between cortisol and serotonin in your life is huge for mental health. And those are two huge things. And then my final thing is morning pages. So like that's a Tim Ferriss thing, like just getting everything out of your brain so it doesn't feel like it's all cluttered during the day.
Trevor, I just realized why it's so important that we go fishing more often.
No, it's actually true. It's actually true.
Serotonin.
And then
our feet are on a boat deck, though. So
affirmations, and visualizations are the last one. Those are also important for yourself.
I've got something really short that I can add that I've created that helps me stay. I'm about to say the word grounded, but it's not the same grounding. I call it my big three. I did a podcast with John Majak, and I was honestly, he influenced me to kind of come up with this concept. So these are the big three things that I have to accomplish every day in order to stay sane and feel accomplished. If nothing else happens that day, at least I got these big three things done. I have to be still with God. That's so every morning I get to the office early. I have at least an hour where I sit down. I do not turn my computer on except for worship music. I read my Bible and I journal every single morning without fail. And if I don't do it, it definitely affects my day, without a doubt. And so I try to make up for it by the end of the day. Every single day I find gratitude, no matter what I'm going through, no matter what it is, you find time to find gratitude. And the last thing I do every single day is I get moving. So that's like physical activity, that's working out, exercise, whatever it is. Even if you're exhausted, just go for a 1 mile walk. You can hack your brain by saying, I'm just going to go for a quick walk. I'm not going to work out today. I'm just going for a walk. And then after mile 1, you might feel different. You might pick up the pace and you might feel good, but just get moving, right? So those are my big three: be still, find gratitude, and get moving.
Heck yeah. Sean and Michael, what you guys got?
So every morning I get up, I meditate for a very short time, maybe a couple minutes, just to clear my brain. And I try to transcend over like the world and shit in the world and worldly bullshit. I try to stop thinking and just kind of feel my consciousness and my awareness and slow everything down. After that, I say the Our Father. After that, I say, Michael, control and influence. I say the Serenity Prayer, which is basically the exact same thing. All right. And then I say pretty much the same prayer every single morning. And it's a little lengthy, but I'm not going to say it. But I mean, it basically, I ask God to help me be honest, unselfish, loving, and pure, and also have abundance of humility. And then I basically just ask God in a roundabout way to help me serve his kids the best I can just today. And I say that every morning. And at the very end of my prayer, I thank him for being an American. And I pray for everybody that wears the uniform. And I say that, and I tell him I'm going to be absolutely grateful for that today. And then I walk my dog every single morning, and I get outside, and I usually am listening to something that's either spiritual or if I'm into an audio book, something business, something cool to get me a little pumped up on that. It depends on my mood and what's going on. And then that's it. I get back and I eat my breakfast and I go to work. And that's my morning every single morning. And to Trevor's point, and I'm sure Angela would say the same, if she missed one of those things or a couple of those things, I'm off. And it's not that I'm reflecting that I screwed up, I should have done it. I'm just not the same person. Something's off through my day. So I've got to do those things. And I've been doing that now for a couple of years, and I've never been more at peace in my life.
It's awesome.
Hell yeah.
That's amazing. So, I mean, I would just take the last 10 minutes of this segment and just take a little piece of what every one of you said and just try to apply it. I didn't hear journaling very much, but that's another good tactic. I'll share my experience in a little different way. So, I've been part of this incredible mastermind group for almost 3 years now. And part of it is reflection and vulnerability. And so I found myself when I first started, I call it my third era of self-awareness now. The first era is, or where I was, and I'm sure a lot of people listening to this is like, how do you even be able to identify or understand how you're feeling, right? When you think about mental health is, how do I put into words like how I actually feel? And so my first era, when I was going through these exercises of like trying to express myself, it didn't really come out the right way. Then I finally got to figure out a way to express it. And I realized that my thing that came out for me was like, it just kept telling myself, stop being a bitch, stop being a bitch. It's, just get over it. It's like,
okay, Bobby. Like,
right?
Okay, Bobby.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, yeah, he got that from Bobby. And so then I called my third era, which is like giving yourself some grace and recognizing that, if I miss the gym, if I don't journal, if I don't read the book, if I don't do my forward ambulation in the morning, as Andrew Huberman says, and get up and walk and get my vitamin D, that, it's okay because I know like where I'm going. I know who I am. I'm happy with myself and comfortable in my own skin, and that it's okay to not be on your game for a day. That's for me is just really kind of understanding and giving myself grace when I'm not on my game. And the first phase, which I think a lot of people really miss, at least I was missing very heavily, is like even really being able to understand when I was off, the source of why I'm off, and what I can do to can be okay with it and recognize when it's happening.
So good.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
Stop being a bitch, Michael. I have one. I don't know a better way to define this, but I like recognized it when I was in the corporate world. I had one of our
I gotta go. I just realized I'm late for a call. See you guys.
See you, Michael.
See you, Michael.
I had one of our like, senior. I had one of our senior leaders like asking, what my goals were and what really drove me. And this is like high level, but I try to, and I think I do a damn good job of this. I try to always focus on maximizing happiness, and like in every situation, in every human that I interact with. Trevor, you said it earlier, like we get a pretty short window, and like if you're doing stuff right, people be happy. If you're doing stuff wrong, people ain't be happy. And so just every lens, like every situation I put through that lens tends to put me at a pretty damn good outcome. And like, I think it's important that you realize where happiness comes from too, right? I mentioned pride earlier. And so when I start to feel like I'm not feeling hot, it's generally due to a lack of productivity. Like it's generally that I haven't done something badass in a while. I haven't like accomplished things that need to get done, right? There's like something lingering over my head, whether it's stuff at home, whether it's stuff at work. If my mood is faltering, it's generally a production related issue, like for myself.
That's
like
biblical.
I need to be getting stuff done. I need to be helping people. I need to be making other people happy in order for me to be happy, right? One of the things, and Marty is so good at this, I'm a work in progress. I don't know if you guys would believe that, but I'm still a work in progress. But especially with emotional stuff, trying to get better at talking about it instead of expressing it. When you, and like, again, it's like a hard lens to have, but I think it all goes back to like trying to create as much happiness as possible, which is if you express an emotion at somebody, their immediate reaction is generally negative. Like if it's a negative emotion, right? If it's a frustration or an anger thing, people give you, if you express it at them, they give it back to you. Like they don't like to be on the receiving end of your emotion. If you talk about it and say, hey, here's what I'm feeling, they generally show you empathy. They're like, oh man, like how can I help? Right. And so I've just learned that we all do a lot better like for each other if we openly communicate about what we're feeling instead of like push it on each other. And that's really hard to do when you're really frustrated, really pissed off about something. Okay, go eat, bud. Cross dog with the cameo. But that and again, like Marty's better at like when you're just in that like Sunday funk mood and you feel like you're just wearing on everybody, but it's hard to pull yourself out of. And man, you get a way better vibe with your spouse, a way better reaction with your kids if you're like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm just in like a crummy mood and I probably need to produce something. I probably need to go get some stuff done to help cheer me up, or who wants to go on a walk or whatever. I just got to be myself and go on a walk. And like Trevor said, move around a little bit. Go ahead, bud. Cross dog just yelling. He's got eardrums.
I think that's hackable though. Like there's those moments, like you said, Sundays for some reason tend to bring you down, right? Because you're just like, I'm so bored. I'm not doing anything. I'm unproductive. But then at the same time, you're like, but I don't want to do anything, right? I think that the secret to life is gratitude. I really, really, truly believe that if you can get alone with yourself and find gratitude in the mundane, small things, you're going to find motivation, and that motivation turns into you getting off your ass and going to work or doing something or exercising or playing ball with your kid in the yard when you really didn't want to, right? And then what does that do? That creates the pride, right? That creates the happiness. I think all happiness and all of life stems from gratitude.
Yep.
Gratitude's powerful, man. Anytime you're in a funk, whether it's the Sunday thing or whatever, that is a for sure way to get you out of that funk. I mean, it's as far as I know, it's never failed me to get out of there. And others might need to take a pill or lash out or that type of thing, to Dan's point about lashing out versus, hey man, that's how I'm feeling. And there's a little bit of maybe maturity with that. There's maybe a little bit of wisdom that goes into that, whatever you want to call it. But it's, we talk about the paradox is nobody should really be able to affect your happiness and who you are and the way that you're reacting. We have emotions and stuff like that. But at the same time, to Dan's point, hell yeah, we want to make people happy around us, and that makes us happier. But there can't be a super stringent expectation to that, tied to that, because when it doesn't happen, we don't want to be crushed and we don't want to be, man, this is a bummer. And we don't want that to affect us negatively. So I think for me, at least, it comes back to, if I'm doing the right things at the right time with the right people, and I've got some gratitude with that, done deal, man. I'm done. What else is there? It's covered. I don't expect everybody to respond the way I want them to. There's a million things. How many? 350 million people in this country, right? Doing 100 different things a day, an hour, and how many thoughts are going through their head? And we expect that shit's going to happen the way I want it to. What do you? I mean, that's just illogical. It doesn't even make sense to me. How can things go your way all the time? So you can only control what a little bit about what you're thinking. That's the most important part, I think. Everybody says you are what you think. I sure as hell hope not. I'm sure as hell hope that's not true. And I have conversations with my son about this. Your thinking is your thinking. You could put that somewhere else, and it's not reality. Thoughts are not reality. And I'll give a simple example. There's 3 beautiful young blonde chicks, and they're just dying to get to Sean Day, man. I can tell you that. I'm thinking that right now. I assure you that is not reality. Okay, that is not reality. So your thoughts are not your reality, man.
But you can imagine what it'd be like.
I can't get what I want. How can I get what I want? Think about it, though, dude. Everybody spends almost every waking moment either fighting for what they want or running from what they don't want, and they think they have control over that. How can you have control over those things? You can have doing the right things and treating people well and all those sort of things, and not get steamrolled by people, and showing up and doing all those things. There's very little that's in our control as far as what we think is in our control.
Oh yeah, man. We're not going to get to the employee topic because we're out of time for today. But maybe next week. Maybe next week we'll talk about how we can work on employee mental health stuff, because that's a meaty one, and I think it's super worth talking about. And as we're all trying to scale businesses, again, if you're going to be a leader, all of your followers' problems become yours, and that's good and bad. Like that's a role that you play. I want to close with one thing, because I think Ron jumped in and dropped a good one here. He said about these poor kids, it's hopelessness. Kids do not have hope. These parents of these kids are on a struggle. We lied to the parents of this generation, told them to go to school and all their dreams will come true. My kids know it's not school or dad that's going to do it for them. It's themselves and what they decide to do with their own lives. No one is going to give it to them. Hard work is what it takes. Do not do it for money. Do it because you love it. Happiness will follow.
Dropping bombs, man.
Boom. And I think it's like as business owners, I've done a really good job of that with Best Damn Bookkeeping. I'm super proud of it. And I think we're more successful because we have no revenue goals. We have no profit goals. It's a result of running a business. And I've talked about that before. It's not like we're trying to do a bad job. We're trying to do such a kick-ass job. We don't need to think about the money, because we're just taking really good care of people and making sure everybody's happy. And then the money will come. And it's just not about the money. That's just a result of doing a really good job and helping a lot of people. And you just got to love it. And man, if you don't do it for the money, turns out you actually probably love it a little bit more, and you probably actually make more money in the process because you're having so much more fun doing it. So don't get too hung up in the result. Just get hung up in the process and enjoying the journey. Don't be too much in a hurry to get to the end.
Love it.
All right, y'all. We got to part ways. I got a new one for everybody tonight. We got a new type of episode coming, only because I totally forgot to line up a guest for tonight. And then I'm in a fantasy football league with a bunch of other Minnesota window cleaning dudes. And they were like, "Hey, fantasy draft Wednesday, 8:00." And I was like, I got a show. And I was like, oh crap. No, I don't. I forgot, like somehow I didn't book this week. I'm like booked into mid-September, but I forgot to book this week. So we're having a business owner fantasy football draft. I'm sure some beer drinking. I'm sure some
super lame, bro.
I'm sure there's going to be some shit talking, but we're going to do some fantasy football business owner BS live podcast. It's going to happen.
No, I mean,
we might.
it's a first for your podcast, like going live
Yeah.
with it. Like,
Yeah, we've never
let's-
done it.
let's
I
do
guess
Yeah,
it might
not
suck.
yet, yeah.
Jai, you can Jai. We'll do it live. We'll get some fun BS in the comments. If it sucks, you don't need to make it a podcast episode. But we'll see. Might be awesome. Might suck.
see.
Either way, we're doing it live right here.
Still
8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Join in, grab a beer, talk some smack. You guys know what to do. As always, work smarter and harder. Go earn yourself some pride. Take care of everybody. As Trevor said, give some hugs and kisses to your family. It's a shitty day, but make the most of what you got going on. We'll see y'all later. Peace.